had like my shoulder rested on the driver's windowsill, and then next thing I know, I hear X say, "Oh," and he like rips me and the other PSA, and then I just got like swiping on around. I hit the floor.
Just make sure you don't have anything on you before you go to the jail.
That'd be great. Thank you.
For drunk driving a school bus.
Thank you. So what are we doing right now?
We're going to the police station. You're under arrest.
Insane crashes and wild arrests, all allegedly because of drunk drivers. We're going to break down 5 crazy incidents involving DUIs with Dan Morgan, personal injury attorney and managing partner of the mega house law firm Morgan & Morgan. Welcome to a special crossover Morgan & Morgan and Law and Crime edition of Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. It's something you can't really argue with. Driving drunk is not only illegal, but it is a very, very bad idea, right? But even though I say that, unfortunately, some people still choose to get behind the wheel, which can lead to all sorts of problems, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. And for that, I want to bring in a special guest for our special Morgan & Morgan edition of Sidebar. I think you can guess it. Dan Morgan, managing partner for powerhouse law firm Morgan & Morgan, is with us right now. Dan, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Good to see you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's much better than the old studio. We were cramped together. Some people would say that was preferable. I prefer this, though.
Got a lot of space in here.
Right? Yeah. And look, as we talk about this, I imagine you have seen your fair share of DUI cases, right?
More than I can count. My first case, actually, as a lawyer, first day on the job, was a DUI case, and we see them all day, every day, unfortunately, in this country.
Just like you would think people would know better, but they feel they can just get behind the wheel and they're okay, and that's it.
Especially now with Ubers and taxis and the accessibility to all that stuff, to have them to keep happening over and over again, and see almost see an uptick with it. It's crazy, but yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with when they start drinking, the judgment goes out the window, so it's a lot easier to pick up the keys.
And that, by the way, you made a good point. Now that there is Uber, now not just taxi, but there's Uber, there's Lyft, all these services, it's harder for them to argue that they should have not gotten behind the wheel. It's not like, oh, there was no way for me to get home. You have all these other options.
Exactly, yeah. Even a couch is a better option than getting behind a wheel.
It's true. It's really true. All right, so let's dive into this. We're going to start off in Albuquerque, New Mexico in May of this year. Police officers and PSAs, these are known as police service aides, are responding to a crash on the interstate. And they're blocked off a couple of lanes with their vehicles. Their lights are flashing. According to Albuquerque PD, police service aides are unarmed. They assist with traffic control, property crime report writing, and other non-sworn public service duties. So they're all on scene. And one of the officers is leaning on the window of a police cruiser talking to the PSAs inside when this happens. The audio kicks in after a few seconds.
Are you guys good?
Yeah, so a Chevy Trailblazer just rear-ended the cruiser with so much force that the cruiser slammed into the other police car in front, causing very serious damage. That's pretty crazy.
I mean, that is as bad as it gets right there.
Right?
I mean, talk about it's not even a checkpoint. You're going right into the police car. I mean, there's no doubt there.
So let's see what happens. So 2 officers, they head for the suspect's SUV to see what happened.
Albuquerque police, get out of the car.
I'm trying.
Like a dream, feels like magic.
Stop reaching. Get out of the car.
I believe I can have it. Tell me, all of my wishes came true. Shop like a billionaire. Shop like a billionaire.
Bro, I'm just trying to turn it off, bro.
Are you good? Go check on the PSAs.
I tried to press the brakes, dude.
Why are you going so fast on the freeway?
I was going 70.
You were not going 70. I saw you hauling ass over here.
I was up there. I was literally going 70, dude.
No, you weren't. I saw you speeding.
Here's the thing. If I didn't even label this episode drunk driving incidents, I think we could have all guessed what that was about in 20 seconds, right?
Absolutely. Slurred speech, glassed over eyes, not knowing where he was, pointing, he's coming from there, he was coming from there.
So you heard at the end, this first officer goes back to the crash site to check on the PSAs who were in the car that got hit.
Hey, is he okay? Oh, let me get my med kit.
What exactly happened? I can't remember.
This guy was hauling ass and almost took out the three of them. He took you guys out, almost literally ran over me and Kyle.
First of all, it's amazing they're okay. They survived that.
Oh, absolutely. That no one was hurt too. The amount of people that were on scene and in the cars and the damage that was done to the front end of that. Even the driver, the fact that he's conscious and talking is a miracle in itself.
And it came out of nowhere. That's a common theme that you see in these incidents, comes out of nowhere. So meanwhile, the second officer is dealing with the suspect identified as Nathaniel Lucero.
Hey, come to the passenger. The glass is gonna suck, but we have an ambulance on the way for that, okay?
Dude, I was slamming the brakes. Oh, hold on. I can't lose it, dude. This is my dad's house.
47
Hold on. Let me put this in.
Okay, you're detained right now. Come with me. Walk. Yeah, he's driver of this car, open containers, small 47.
Okay. So this was the 45 you guys responded to?
Yeah, this is a non-driver. This is first crash that we all came out to.
Okay. This kid had a PSA which spun it into you, it looks like?
So I was number 1 lane, X was shoulder. The 47 PSA pulled up behind me. He was going to help Steven with the tow sheet.
Okay.
And we were just talking about it when he ass loaded the PSA.
I'm getting arrested, Dad. Can you tell me that I'm getting arrested? Hey, partner.
Thank you.
I'm Officer Ghost with APD. I'm cool. Go ahead. What happened? Nothing. I'm good. Go ahead, arrest me.
You injured? Told me you What makes you was going the wrong way?
Oh, dude, I've just been going through a lot. Dude, I just lost my kids. I've been seeing my kids for so long. Like, I've just been going through it, dude. I've been sober for a while. I started drinking.
How much you have to drink tonight?
I drank 2 Modelos and 2 shots. That's it. But I haven't drank in 2 months. 2.5 months. How long has it lasted?
So police, they end up checking Lucero's vehicle, which is totaled from the wreck, and the officer spots at least 2 open, empty cans of beer, which are in plain view. Lucero, as well as the 2 PSAs, they were taken to the hospital, and Lucero was arrested. The grand jury indicted him on charges of great bodily harm by vehicle while driving under the influence, DWI, and reckless driving. He's being held with no bond. He's due back in court in December. You know, Dan, hitting into police especially, that's a tough case for him criminally. But I also think from a civil point of view, would the officers, the PSAs, be able to sue him?
Well, I mean, if there's injuries, most definitely. I mean, if there was if they were struck by the car or they were hit by the car, dealt anything, they could go after Lucero directly. Also, there would be work comp components too, being injured on the job, depending on what states they're in. But yeah, I mean, depending on what his insurance policy is and things of that nature, I mean, going after Lucero, just Lucero might not be as monetarily beneficial to the officers, but there's definitely a case there.
Who else could you go after? Would it be anybody who maybe supplied him the alcohol?
Dram shop, yeah, there's a dram shop act is when you go after the bar for over serving someone knowing they're drunk, still serving them, or serving someone knowingly that's underage. You can definitely, we have the case like that all the time. We're able to pursue the bar or the bartenders at those establishments.
Well, here's the good thing. I mean, this could have ended up a lot worse, but you see how that case happened. Again, I think it's going to be really tough for him moving forward.
Hey there, everybody. So I want to thank Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this episode of Sidebar. Always love talking about them. Now, here is the incredible thing about Morgan & Morgan, and one of the reasons why I like talking about them so much.
Hey, say something about our big wins.
You're not supposed to come on camera. The reason Morgan & Morgan, America's largest personal injury law firm, is so big, and I'm sure you can guess it, is because they win a lot. And that's
Don't forget huge verdicts.
Yeah, I was. They've won big verdicts. $6.8 million in New York, $26 million in Philadelphia. You see, the thing about them is they don't settle for lowball insurance offers from insurance companies, which is something.
Mention that you can submit a claim from your couch at home and on your phone.
Dan, they've completely modernized the process by submitting your claim, talking to your legal team. It's all done straight from your smartphone. Again, that's something that
8 clicks or less.
8 clicks or less. Yes. You can see if you have a case in just a few minutes.
1,000 lawyers. We have over 1,000 lawyers.
All right.
now.
You know what, Dan? If you really think you can do better, maybe you should just do it yourself.
What Jesse was getting at is if you've ever been injured in an accident, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. You can submit a claim in 8 clicks or less. To start your claim, just visit forthepeople.com/LC sidebar.
You came a little too close to me. It hurt me a little bit. I'm probably actually going to have to hire you guys now, but that was well said. That was well said.
But now let's switch gears. We're going to go to Elmwood Park, New Jersey, where police responded to reports of a car involving multiple cars in a neighborhood.
20 quarters. I'm going to need a couple of units up here. Block off a bunch of intersections. You got like a 6-car MVA. Who's in this car?
I just
He's out? Okay. Was anybody in this car? Was anybody you were inside the car? Were you inside the car?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Are you injured at all? We got ambulance coming.
Yeah.
All right, just hang tight. All right, I got to check on everybody. If I could get a couple units, or you up at 16th and Mola, I'm gonna drive a Mola. I hope that. Who's in this car?
This is me.
Is you okay?
Okay.
Okay. Were you in the car? Okay, just hang tight. Who's this car?
over there on the lawn.
Down there?
Yeah.
Who was in this car?
That guy, he's okay.
Who's this guy?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
Oh, leave that.
All right.
He's the one driving this car.
You were driving. All right, come over here. All right, you hurt? All right, what happened? Tell me what happened.
I don't even know.
All right, how much you drink today? Huh? I can smell it. I just said when you.
I don't know.
You don't know how much you drank? Do you take anything else?
Nothing.
Anything else? We're gonna come over here. You're gonna stay with me right here.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
So the man that the officer detained that you saw right there is Gene Lizardo. The officer walks him back to his patrol car, which means he has to walk by all the devastation he just caused. Dan, that is a sight. All the debris there, and clearly the officer knew right away that might be a case of.
That looked like a war zone with all the shrapnel and metal and everything that was spread away. When we turned to the side of that car, I'm surprised Lizardo was even walking around at the scene.
And so many witnesses. So they identified immediately who was driving.
Oh yeah, they said right there he is. At least he stuck around. A lot of times in that situation, you see the driver just run off on foot.
Well, let's see what condition he was in. I think you can probably guess. He doesn't do well on the eye test portion of the field sobriety exercises, or really any of the tests for that matter.
Stand over here. You just face me. Stand right here. So what you're gonna do, while I explain these instructions, I want you to just stand like this, hands at your side, and I want you to put your right foot in front of your left, heel to toe, but face me. See how I'm standing, just like this? That's all I want you to do, just stand like that while I explain these instructions, okay? When you're ready, look at me. When you're ready, I want you to take, come over here on the sidewalk. Take a seat. Sit down right there. Watch out, bro. I get it. I'm in the middle of the test with him right now. Can you please go over there?
Que no loco, tú no ves el desorden.
Do you know him?
No, crashing over
I
there.
understand. So can you please go over there so I can finish the test? Okay? Go stand over there. That's why I brought him here. So we don't have to deal with this, please. Yeah.
I just had my car come in.
Your car?
Not my car, the guys that I have come in.
Yeah, my man, please, stay there. Go back over there. You're not helping anything. Okay, come here. Come here. You gotta stand up now. We're not done. Buddy. You want to continue these tests? test? Please stand over there. Stand right here. Stand right here. Hands out your pocket.
All right, Dan, I'm going to ask you kind of a difficult question here. If that is your client, and this is a bad video, is there any way to change the narrative of what we see? If you see your client who's seemingly failing field sobriety tests, what's an argument to say, you know, that he's not intoxicated or he's not what we see there?
And again, you know, he's not my client, so I'll kind of put this on as a test, but I mean, one, he did admit to it, I think, to the officer when he got there, so that's going to be pretty damning. But if I was being creative and argumentative, I might say that he was just involved in a huge accident. He's got some head trauma. He's got concussions. He's disoriented. He got airbags go off, and that's why his equilibrium's thrown off. He's confused. He's concussed. However, I'm not sure that's the exact instance in this case. But if I was being a creative attorney, that's probably what I would go with.
That's a better argument than I could have come up with. That's why it's Morgan & Morgan. So, okay, we go back to this. All joking aside, serious situation here. Lizardo takes some very wobbly steps, and the officer decides to call it quits on the testing.
Knees straight, toe pointed forward. It's going to look like this. You be standing here, you're going to be out like that. Right? Don't do it yet. You're going to count 1001, 1002, until I tell you to stop, okay?
Best shot to take. What do we need?
Whenever you're ready. You're done. Turn around. You're going to be first on the rescue. You are.
Yeah, maybe not surprising. I will say once Lizardo realizes he's in a patrol car and what's happening, he seems confused.
What are we doing right now? What are we doing right now?
You're under arrest.
Why?
For suspicion of DUI.
What do you DUI?
Yeah, DUI motor vehicle accident.
So what are we doing right now?
You're going to the police station. You're under arrest.
Back at the crash site, investigators are trying to figure out exactly how this happened.
So where's the first car that he hit initially?
It's gotta be.
I thought it was this one. And that's what kicked him to the right to go head on.
Oh, with the car coming down?
With the car coming down, and then she ended up
How
there.
did
She
this
probably
car
got
get
hit. She probably got hit and moved up. Look, she's got skid marks. Look at her. Look at where her rear tire is. Look at the skid.
Yeah.
From the back of her tire. So where she initially got hit, she probably ended up there.
Look, the Charger got hit over here. Look at his skid marks.
He probably saw him and tried to.
He got smacked here somehow. Oh no, that's from him car. Cause look, and then he hit this car that was here, and then he railed right this car, and then he ended up here. So that car, if you reverse it,
All right, we're gonna go around.
Came back this way. He must have hit this car here, where that tail is.
So who
smashed into that and back?
So where was this car? How did this car get involved?
He must have been going north and he got tailed. He said he looked in the rear view and the guy was coming at full speed. He said he was gonna pull over, like try to come over, but he was going so fast he got tailed.
That's crazy.
Okay, it makes sense of that. It turns out reportedly a total of 8 cars were involved in this wreck, 2 on the street, 2 that were parked. At least one driver had to be cut out from inside of his car, but he thankfully survived, and 2 others were also taken to the hospital. 29-year-old Gene Lizardo was charged with driving while intoxicated. Dan, you know, again, putting a bow on this, seems pretty straightforward what happened here, but one thing that I was thinking about as I was looking at this, when you have a car wreck and there are a lot of cars involved, and let's say it's a different situation like this, how do you figure out who's at fault and how do you apportion out responsibility and blame? Because there could be situations where it's not just one driver who's at fault. So how do you figure that out when there's multiple cars in a wreck?
So yeah, a lot of times when there's multiple cars, first off, if it's a rear-end accident, it's assumed liability. The person that was behind you, that hit you, they're at fault for the accident. But now when there's times where it's 4-car pileups, or we know this guy hits them, then hits him, that then hits him, that then hits them, well then you can say, well these cars were all following too close, and each one in the chain has a bit of apportionment of the blame on them. It really comes down to asserting that what your percentages are, and if it goes all the way to prove to a jury, well, they'll eventually say this guy's 60% at fault, this guy's 40% at fault. But I've had cases, or seen cases where, you know, two people are going through a stop sign at the same time. They both run it and they both hit it. Well, they're both at fault, and it's a 50-50 accident. In some states, if you're 1% at fault, you get nothing. In some states, if you're 99% at fault, you still get that 1% recovery. So it's a state-by-state kind of guidelines. With this case, with the drunk driver and the 8 different cars that are at fault, clearly this guy's at fault for this accident. Now his insurance is going to have 8 claims that are coming after that one policy, which most likely isn't going to be enough to go around. So those individual car owners are probably going to have to go after their own insurance to hopefully get the compensation that they're looking for.
That's a good point. All right, we're going to move this on. We're now going to go to a very, very scary situation, as if all this wasn't scary enough. This is now in Lake County, Illinois, and deputies there had to deal with not only an alleged drunk driver in February 2022, but this person was behind the wheel of a school bus.
All right, you come out too. All of both can come out.
Hang on. No, you're not walking home.
Yeah, I am. And what are you talking about?
You're gonna make this a lot worse.
You're not walking home.
Do this.
Why are you doing this to me?
I'm not doing anything to you.
We just
I pulled over. I barely
We
heard.
want to check on you. We want to check on you medically, okay, to make sure you're okay. Because something's not right with you right now. You're not. Something's not right with you right now.
Now you're.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're going to the hospital. Okay.
You're going to go to the hospital to get checked out, okay?
All right.
You're making this worse on yourself, man. You're making this stuff a lot worse on yourself.
That's not mine.
Let's see what it is. I don't know what this is. Is this yours?
That's my body camera, yeah.
What do you got to do this in front of my kids?
You're doing it in front of your kids.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're
I've
acting
been
like a
sitting there.
spaz. You're acting like a bonehead right now.
No, I'm not.
Stop it. Listen, you're making it worse for yourself. You really are.
I'm not.
You are.
Get the kids off of that bus and put them on the other
You're
bus.
blowing this, buddy. Stop now, or you're gonna really be sorry.
Okay.
You're making this worse for yourself. Are you being?
Okay. How much? Have you been drinking?
No.
So here's the deal. You got a busload of kids that you're making really, really scared right now. Okay, I know you care about them.
Not that.
Yeah, no,
what am I doing? You're doing it all.
Listen to me. Okay? We don't need to yell and scream.
Look at me. Look at me. You're pulling my shirt up and everything.
We can talk like gentlemen.
I can't
respect
even
each
put
other.
my shirt down to...
Hold on, okay? Let's talk like gentlemen. Keep our voice down. Let's just walk over to the ambulance, let these guys check you out real quick. And if everything's good, we'll decide then if you're going to go anywhere or not, okay? So we're going to do that, and then we're going to move the kids on the other bus, okay? So let's just walk over and let them check you out. All right.
You ripped my shirt. What the hell? What the hell? I'm walking
No,
over.
no. Now you're under arrest.
Oh, now I'm under arrest.
Yep.
Yes, you are.
Okay, it's either you walk or we drag you.
Walk or we drag you, one of the two.
That'd be embarrassing in front of the kids, okay? There you go.
Knock it off. Act like man. How old are you? Huh?
Leslie, you got your key? Oh, it's on that. I'll grab it. 1 second.
You're just looking at
I don't understand. I don't even... I don't speak English.
Look at this.
Oh, isn't that great? No,
Yeah, be more than happy to.
Thank you.
Just, I can't see right now.
No, I'm not.
Let me know.
No,
I didn't
I'm
grab
not.
his crotch if you wanna.
I'm not nobody over. You're me over.
Did you already check this side camera?
No, it ain't gonna side just the one.
If we go, yes. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He just pulled my balls.
So clearly a very distressing, disturbing situation to say the least. And deputies say that that school bus driver, 61-year-old James Dolan, had failed to yield to oncoming traffic, turned in front of a car, and that car hit the side of the bus. Now, fortunately, I know what a lot of you are thinking, is everyone okay? No one was hurt. That's the good news. But Dolan was carrying kids on the bus. Dan, imagine being a parent and seeing that body cam footage.
I'd be pissed. I would not be happy with that.
And he's so resistant. And like, at first they're not sure exactly what's going on, right? Is he just irate? But they're starting to get the sense that he might be under the influence.
Oh, I think, yeah, after the first 3 sentences, you kind of see something, especially when he's running off saying he's going home. Something's not right.
Yeah, and the kids are on the bus seeing this.
Yeah.
And they said how frightened they are. Now, the deputies, they did think Dolan seemed drunk, so they took him off the bus. Dolan continued to insist he didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, I endangered some kid?
You did.
I screwed up. What did I endanger? No, I can't.
You just
Put a bunch of
Sure, he wants to get in, so put him in there for now. Take a seat.
Go ahead and lift your foot up there and have a seat.
I don't know how to lift my foot up.
Yeah, you do.
Sorry, remember, I can't even walk.
Lift your left foot up and put it in the car.
5342, 110. Well, that's your right foot. You're close, but left. Listen, you're the one that's just going to sit here in the snow, covered in snow all day. I have a hat on, I have a jacket on, I'm nice and comfortable. So you're the one that's going to stand here all day if you don't get in the car.
I got no problem standing here all day.
Okay.
From there, Dolan starts to insist that he go to the hospital.
I'm asking you to take me to the hospital.
What? Why do you need to go to the hospital?
I don't know. What are you, a lawyer?
No, I'm just asking you a question. If you need to go to the hospital, you said you
I
want to
just
go to the hospital.
asked.
For what reason?
I'm hurt. Oh, God, I'm hurt.
All right. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever you guys, however you want to do it.
He wasn't injured, right? He said he wasn't injured.
He told me he wasn't injured.
Yeah, he told us he wasn't injured. He didn't want to go with us. And then when you started arresting him, he wanted to go to the hospital.
I never even heard that I was arrested.
Oh, I said it. It's on body cam. We both
it.
told you on body cam, so you can take that up in court.
And why am I arrested?
I told
For
you
DUI.
for DUI.
Okay, you're going to go to the hospital with us, right?
Thank you, yes.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
You're
take
going.
him to the hospital. We'll check him for
Please,
head injuries.
unhandcuff me and take me to the hospital.
No, you're getting
No,
handcuffed.
you're still
handcuffed.
Yeah.
All right. You want to walk
wanna
over,
go on the
to
rig
the
now?
in front of the.
Okay. All right, you're going to go in the rig. Ambulance. Keep walking this way. You're going to go in the ambulance. You're going to go in the hospital. That's what you wanted to do.
Are you sure you put me in the ambulance or you put me into the
You just said
morgue?
This is an ambulance.
Oh, yeah.
Step up.
You want to go on the side?
Yeah.
There's steps over here.
Thanks for
We're
getting
going to go to the side.
So, what happened? Well, Dolan's blood alcohol level was found to be more than twice the legal limit. This is according to police. And after a couple of days in the hospital, Dolan was taken into custody on charges of aggravated driving under the influence. So, Dan, can you sue, if you're one of the parents here, can you sue the school or bus company for him being in that situation?
There would be, there'd have to be injuries involved. Luckily there's no one hurt here. I think if there was thank God there wasn't, but if there was some type of big collision and kids were hurt, then yes, there would definitely be some lawsuits that are coming after the school, for negligent entrusting their kids with this person. You could probably go into his history, see if there was prior convictions, DUIs before this, things of that nature. As it lays right here, it probably wouldn't be a case that we would get too involved with at Morgan, because thankfully everyone is okay and it looks to just be a criminal matter. But if there was injuries involved, I think the school would definitely have some blowback.
What about emotional distress, right? So a situation where those kids were exposed to a very traumatic situation, is that a viable claim?
Again, I think you could see some attorneys that would take that on, especially the kids that are on the bus are seeing it unfold in real time right in front of them. What transpired from that? Are they now going to therapy? Are they having night terrors? Are they having trust issues with their the next driver? They're not getting on the school bus anymore because every bus driver is a drunk driver now. Again, I think you'd have to really kind of establish that the school knew or should have known that this guy had a history. Now, just looking at this, it doesn't seem like this was probably his first time doing that, unfortunately. Probably got in the habit of that. But I think as it lays right there, there's probably no cases that would come from the parents of it. But again, thankfully not, because I think if there was a serious injury, there'd be lots of cases coming.
And I want you to keep that in mind, that thought of would there be injuries, there no injuries, because I want to go back to New Jersey for a moment. So now this is July 2024, and Belmar police have just stopped 44-year-old Jason Nagy for allegedly driving on the boardwalk.
Come over here. Come over here. Come over here. Come here. Are you hurt at all? Yeah. What's hurting? Have a seat. What else is hurting?
165, you need fire?
Yeah, fluids in the roadway. That car head on, went up to the boardwalk, started driving down the boardwalk, popped down, and started heading out this way. So he hit the car head on, he went up on the boardwalk, smashed under there, was driving on the boardwalk, came down, started here, and that's what he's done. No one's hit on the boardwalk, right? No, God, I can't believe they weren't. Hit that car head on, went up on the boardwalk, came down. Look at the tire mark by the light pole. Yeah. Came down. Saw the whole thing. We should wait for one more before I run the rest of this case. You watch it? So he was going northbound, hit the car, popped up. Well, somebody just told me he had parked in front of that ticket booth in the diagonal spot. Yeah, someone just told me about it. He backed up all the way across the street, and then hit that. Then started coming northbound, and the southbound lane hit that truck head on. Hit that car head on and sent him up to the ramp on the boardwalk. I saw the whole thing. 6'9", can you swing down here so I can run this Friday test? Trying to get away. Was he trying to drive away? No way.
Can you imagine that? Driving on the boardwalk.
Chaos. It's pure chaos, and people having to get out of the way of that, and it's the last thing you're going to expect is a SUV heading in your direction when you're on a stroll.
It's insane. And look, as witnesses, they're explaining to officers that they had to literally jump out of the way to keep from getting hit. Nagy tells the police during this he's having chest pains.
Do you have somebody you can call to get your dog? No? Sir? Do you have somebody to get your dog? No. Okay. Belmar, could you also please contact SPCA for the dog in the car? Stop. All right, step over here for me. Yeah. Over here. No, wait, oh, yo. Over here. Over here. All right, I want you to stand here. Stand right here. Stand on this line. Yeah. Stand on this line, feet together. Right. All right, face me. Right. Feet together. Yep. Can you get your feet together? Yeah. Feet together like this. Yep. Can you stand like this? Yeah. Can you stand like this? Yep. Feet together. Feet together. Yeah. Can you keep your feet together? Yeah. Put your feet together. Put your feet together like mine.
You start DPW up here. We have potential structural damage to the boardwalk as well. Railings down and across the boardwalk.
Right now you're under arrest for suspicion of DUI. Which way are you? He might have to go here. Why? Because he has chest pains, so he's gonna have to go to the hospital. Okay.
Now, fortunately, no one was hurt during this, miraculously, but the incident did cause $10,000 worth of damage to the boardwalk. Dan, before we go into the rest of this, what happens in those cases when you're dealing with property damage because of an incident like this?
Property damage, now again, the boardwalk most likely is owned by the city, so hopefully they have good insurance. They'll be going after it, but they'll try to subrogate that against Mr. Nagy's insurance, whatever he does have. Most likely he will have at least $10,000 in collision and comprehension damage. So most likely that will be being reimbursed complements of his insurance.
Wow. Well, now he was listed, talking about the criminal front, he was listed for a whole laundry list of things. He was cited, I should say, for operating under the influence, reckless driving, careless driving, unsafe backing, failure to keep right, failure to maintain lane, improperly entering a roadway, improper driving on sidewalk, failure to exhibit insurance, open container, and he was also charged with assault by automobile, criminal mischief, property damage more than $2,000, and causing or risking widespread injury or damage. So Dan, I go back to that question before. The people who had to jump out of the way, they might not have been physically injured. Maybe some of them were from jumping away, but let's say they weren't. Again, emotional distress damages, negligent infliction of emotional distress, something like that?
For sure, exactly. You know, there's a tort law that's right on point with that, which is intentional infliction of emotional distress, meaning someone did something that caused emotional distress. And I think almost a hyperbolic example of that would be, in law school would say, you know, like a guy driving down a boardwalk in the wrong direction, mowing people down. That would be kind of like the throwaway, like, oh yeah, that's an example of intentional infliction of emotional distress. So again, could these people go after and sue Mr. Nagy? Absolutely. You know, is he collectible? I don't know. And the jury would kind of have to say what they think that compensation is worth. But if I'm looking at that and I'm the one that's walking and that guy's driving at me, I'm at least gonna try to get something out of it for him. Like,
yeah,
not gonna let it slide.
I don't think he wanted to become a law school example, unfortunately. And apparently this wasn't even his first DUI. He had one in 2006 and another one in 2014. So past episodes really hurt a client like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, normally there's a 3-strike rule in some states as well, so he might be going away for a long time.
Let's continue this out now in Ohio. So the Ohio Highway Patrol says that they were dealing with a crash scene in August when a motorcycle suddenly came flying through the yellow police tape. I want you to take a look at this video, and from the officer's dash cam, you can see the headlight of a motorcycle approaching and then breaking through. So the patrolman ends up catching up to the rider, a man named Craig Swallows.
What's in Northridge? Do what? How much you had to drink tonight?
Couple beers.
Couple beers. All right, we're gonna step over here real quick. You just put your feet together for me. Hands on your chin just like this, okay?
For real?
Yeah, for real. You drove through, look at the yellow tape that you ran right through. That was up between that pole and mailbox.
Not up over there.
It was, it's been up there for like the past hour.
Well, I didn't
and you
know
drove
that.
right through it. His patrol car?
Yeah, I seen a patrol car, that's why I went that way around.
Why would you think to go around him? Don't you think we're closing this lane down for a reason?
I didn't know you was closing the lane down.
Okay. There you go, I'll follow it.
I didn't almost strike him, I was way away from him.
And you drove right through the yellow thing right there.
But, no, it was already down.
It was not down.
Well, I
all right.
didn't see it.
If you would, just step right there for me.
Dude.
You said you had like 4 beers about an hour ago.
Yeah.
All right. No, face that way. Put your cigarette out.
For what?
You're being under arrest for OBI. Put your
Well,
cigarette
you
out.
need to call my insurance company, have them come and tow my bike. Because you guys ain't towing my bike.
Okay, put your cigarette out. Don't clap your hands behind your back like you're praying.
Come on, man, please.
Now, it's unclear exactly what charges Swallows ended up facing. It's still kind of an open case. Dan, first part, when he mentions that the insurance company has to take his car and he doesn't want police to, what was he saying?
I don't know really what he was saying. I think that might have to do with the 4 beers he had an hour ago
Yeah.
with that statement. That's another statement you don't want to make when you're talking to a police officer, that you had 4 beers an hour ago. Maybe 1 beer 4 hours ago might be the way to go with it, but not 4 beers 1 hour ago. But I think he was, kind of trying to have some type of dominance that, he thought he was going to have his way, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. The police are going to do what they want with that motorcycle.
What else would you want to know about this case if you're looking at it?
As far as we know from the criminal aspect of it,
Criminal and civil. I mean, there's not a lot of information. I mean, it's kind of harrowing to say what's seen on body cam or dash cam, but what else would you want to know in terms of his responsibility or anybody else's responsibility?
What was going on around that road? Why was it being closed down? Was there another investigation going on? Was that outside of a murder scene for all we know, and they got it taped off and he's going right through it? The kind of the circumstances around that, the traffic patterns involved. It clearly looks like he was coming from, some type of bar, some type of biker hangout. So maybe even going back to that dram shop. Who's serving this guy and who let him get on that motorcycle?
Some pretty harrowing circumstances we just went through. Again, could have been much worse scenarios. Thankfully, not more people were injured or worse in this kind of scenario. But Dan, really appreciate you coming on and breaking it down with me. Dan Morgan from Morgan & Morgan. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on Sidebar. As always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.